Hello everyone, how's it going? I am the Average Guy 1983. Thank you very much for tuning into this video today. In today's video, I would like to talk to you guys about my 13-month experience with the GTR lighting LED switchbacks that I've had. And I like to talk to you guys about the positive things as well as the negative things I came across the lights and how they perform in cold weather and hot weather conditions. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this review. Alrighty, so let's first talk about some of the bad things about these LED lights. It's not technically super bad, but it could be considered misleading depending on your use, and that is hyperflashing. Now, hyperflashing does exist on this LED bulb that you see here, and the reason why it's heat. Everything that has to do with hyperflashing has to do with heat. Now, if these bulbs get too hot when you're using the turn signal, then they will start hyperflashing. And the way it hyperflashes is that these lights come off sync with each other. So instead of turning on and off at the same time like this, it starts doing this off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on. And when this side is on, this side is off. And when this side is on, this side is off. And that's what starts the hyperflashing on this LED lights. Now, this doesn't always happen. It happens only like maybe 2% of the time. But if you're driving on a really hot day and you use these turn signals and you're at a left turning lane or a right turning lane for about 2 to maybe 5 minutes or even 6 minutes, you will get hyperflashing. And that's a given. If you're only on a turn signal for like less than 3 minutes and then you make a left turn or a right turn, then you won't experience hyperflashing. And that's just the honest reality of these. These LEDs are not perfect in any way, but they work great when they are working good. But again, for the price, this is very, good. It's innovative in a way because the resistor is built in on the actual light bulb, and that is really cool. But again, it gets hot. When it gets hot, it hyper flashes. So as long as you guys understand that and you guys still want to go for this, then go for it. But let's talk about the second thing. The bulb is heavy. After like 3 months of installation, this socket came off. It got loose and it was rolling around inside of here, and I had a hard time getting it off. I had to get like a metal wire and put it in the shape of a hook in order to get part of that little prong that goes connected to the back of the socket and pull it out of the little socket hole there. And then what I did was I grabbed some needle nose pliers and I tightened up the original connector socket that's in the back of the bulb. Once I did that, I never had problems with that like ever again. Number 3 thing, which is not a deal breaker, just a little annoying. I'm not sure if you can see the GTR logo there. Well, you can't adjust that no matter what you try to do. It's not adjustable, and I wish it was. So if GTR, if you're watching this video, try to make a revision of this where you can adjust the GTR emblem there to make it look straight, because on all of them, including the bottom one here, it's crooked. If we go to the driver's side, here's the same thing. You can kind of see it there a little bit, but it's crooked. In the bottom, right here, oops, can't get it right. It's crooked. You can kind of see that. I'm sorry that I can't get this camera to focus right. All right, so let's talk about the LEDs that are on the actual little light assembly. So you get 10 little white LED lights that stay on at all times when the lights are on. You get 30 orange or amber color LED lights that only turn on when you have the turn signal on or when you have the emergency lights on for the car. And that's about it. That's all there is there. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate for you guys how the lights look like with it on and flasher on, so you guys can see that the light does stay on. And after that, we're going to switch over here to my GoPro Hero 10 here, and we're going to try to get these LED lights to hyper flash. So I'm going to be using a time lapse on this camera, and my stopwatch app on my phone here, and then we're going to see how long it takes for these lights to start hyper flashing. But for me, it has done it within a 5 to 6 minute time frame, like almost always on cue on that. So let's go ahead and show you guys what these lights look like while they're on at a close-up. Alrighty, so here's what the lights look like while they're on. So I hope you guys can see that. You can see the two little LED lights on each little white circuit board that's there, and then the other 6 LED lights are in that orange color, which is the amber lights. So multiply that times 5, that's 10. And on the orange LED lights, that will be 30. So let me show you guys what it looks like with the LED turn signals on right now. Alrighty, so here it is. Please excuse the way it looks. I know it looks all weird, like you're seeing this weird staticky image on the phone video, but it's not doing that in person. So if I move farther enough, you don't see that. You see that? That's how it looks like, but the lights remain on. Can you see them? They never turn off. So these are genuine switchback LED lights. So now that we're done this, I'm gonna go ahead, grab my GoPro Hero 10 here that you see here, and I'm going to set it up for hyper flash. Grab my phone right now, turn that into a little stopwatch, and we're going to time lapse this and see how long it takes me to hyper flash these lights on purpose, just for the benefit of the video. Here we go. Alrighty everybody, I have officially started the timer and the time lapse, and if you start noticing any kind of weird flickering at the top bulb, please disregard it. That's just the GoPro Hero 10 unable to properly capture the light as it's flashing because of the time lapse. Within the video, you are going to notice that by the 2-minute mark, you're going to see both LED lights go out of sync with each other, as I mentioned earlier in the video. And within the 2-minute and 21-second mark, you're going to see the bottom LED fail from overheating, causing the top LED to actually start hyper flashing. However, just remember that if you let these lights cool down for a few minutes without using them as turn signals, they'll go back to normal speed and you'll be able to use them again. But everything depends on climate here. So the climate here, to be fair, was 68 degrees while the engine was running at idle temperature. So let me go ahead and show you guys a clip of how they look at night. Let's go to that now. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are with the GTR lighting switchbacks. If you guys can see, the building is being flashed by the LED switchback, as well as the 110 freeway sign. As I make my right turn here on York Boulevard in Highland Park, you can see from a distance the street signs that are on top of the traffic lights actually being lit up pretty brightly. So these amber lights are very bright, and I think what helps out these ambers be so bright is the fact that it's 2 bulbs per side. I think if it was 1 bulb, it would probably be a little bit less brighter, but you can see me using my turn signal here just on purpose to show you guys how the light starts reflecting off of the signs and as well as buildings. So it actually is very bright, and I love that dark orange color. It looks really nice. It actually brings contrast to the headlights that I have, which is a nice combination. But you can see some of the buildings being lit up every time I turn on the LED switchbacks. So you're going to be seeing that throughout the video as I'm doing that. You can see the street signs lighting up, and these look really nice. So like I mentioned earlier, the downfall to these is that you still get hyper flashing. It just doesn't happen as often, but that really does depend on how hot the light bulb gets. If the light bulb is already hot and you turn on the amber turn signals on, and the temperature rises a little higher because of those light bulbs turning on and off, you will get hyper flashing, especially during the summertime. In the summertime, I was getting hyper flashing within like the first 5 minutes of me having the turn signal on. Now I live in Los Angeles, so we get a lot of high traffic. There was this one time where I was actually at a left turn signal lane for about 12 minutes, and when I had the hyper flashing thing happen, it happened at the 8-minute mark. So if you don't live in Los Angeles, or you live in an area where there isn't heavy traffic, then you're never going to experience this problem. But other than that, These are a nice plug and play idea without having to cut any wires or tap into any kind of wires. So that's a really good deal for what you're getting, but the lights are expensive and you do have to buy at least 2 sets of bulbs. So you can put a set on the left side and a set on the right side. But you can see here the Avenue 56 sign on the right and the York Boulevard sign on the left by the red light being lit up. And you can even see the bus sign on the left hand side being lit up by the LED switchback. So as you guys see me make my left turn, I'm going to be using the right turn signal again to go into that little shopping center in there. And you're going to see that again the LED switchback is going to light up the street signs very nicely, and it's even going to light up that donut shop wall. So I highly recommend these lights if you're looking for something that's a plug and play. So let's go ahead and get back to my final thoughts. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so we have reached the conclusion of the video, and I would like to give you guys my thoughts on this, as well as a thanks to the people who made the request. I'm putting these GTR lighting LED switchbacks as a 1-year update review. So now that you guys know how all of this works, what I want to do is basically let you know right now. Would I recommend them to you? Yes and no. Yes, if you can afford them. That's number one. Number two, yes, if you want simplicity. If you just want to simply plug and play the lights and put them in your car and go on your way, then yes. But I wouldn't recommend them to you if you cannot afford them. Two, if you don't want to baby them because of temperature, because on these light bulbs, from what you guys just seen, the enemy for this light bulb or this type of light bulb is heat, temperature. So if you can't keep things cool in your car, or like, you know, in the engine bay, you might experience hyper flashing a lot faster than what I'm experiencing. Now again, my hyper flashing happens within the 5 to 6 minute, gap, and it's only in heavy traffic. If I make a quick turn signal and the light turns green for me to make a left turn or a right turn within 1 to 2 minutes, then I don't have any issues at all with the lights, which, like I had mentioned before, 98% of the time, I don't have these issues. 2% of the time, I do. So there are other alternatives though, because keep in mind that you get 2 of these bulbs for over $100. That's really expensive. And not everybody can actually afford that. So there are other alternatives that you can get on eBay and Amazon from many different companies that offer them, but they don't have the load resistor built in to the bulb. So you have to use a 50 watt 6 ohm load resistor, where one of the ends goes to the positive side of that turn signal light circuit, and the opposite side goes to the ground side of it. You're going to need 4 of those if you want to do this. Now, I don't recommend you go with that kind of application if you don't know how to work your electrical system in your car. If you don't have a multimeter to be able to test voltage, I honestly do not recommend you do that. And I would recommend that if you want to get switchbacks that are plug and play, try to find some around that can do that if there's any other options. And if there isn't, go with the GTR lighting and make sure that you get the non-CK version for your vehicle. Contact GTR lighting directly, let them know what kind of car you have so they can help you out. I'm not affiliated with GTR lighting. I'm just making this video because it was requested by several viewers, and that's pretty much it. So other than that, I'd like to thank you guys for watching the video. It's going to be a while before I post another one because I really have to try to work in this basement and get more of these little pegboard thingies behind me. I have to put them in several places, and I have to get my table and my router table and everything fixed up. So it's going to take me several months. So this is going to be the last video you guys are going to see for a while. So please be patient. If you feel like unsubscribing, go ahead and do so. I'm not going to feel hurt about it. If you want to remain subscribed and stick around till I eventually make another video updating all of this, then please stick around. So other than that, thank you very much for watching. Hit the thumbs up button for me so that this video can get some kind of views, and we'll go from there. So thank you very much. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next video.